Our next speaker is Richard Ryder of the San Diego Taxpayers to give us a taxpayer perspective. Richard.
Good morning. Richard Ryder, Chairman, San Diego Taxpayers. I'm deeply honored that the de facto head of the San Diego Unified School District, Lorena Gonzalez, is here. Nice to know that the union people have a tight leash on what goes on down here. There are several things that are disturbing about this tax, and I'm going to leave to others to cover a couple different areas, but I thought I'd touch on a couple things. One of the things that really bothers me about this is simple equity. This is about as regressive a tax as you can get. You can own a $150,000 condo or $15 million home, and the tax is $98. How fair is that to the people of San Diego? I think it's fundamentally wrong to level disproportionate taxes on the very people who are probably suffering the most in this recession. Secondly, it seems to me that there has been a lack of proper accounting and projection in this project, in this tax. I found that perhaps some inaccuracies are built into the projection, $40-some million that they plan to raise. I think they're going to raise $48 million. But what I found was it looks like they plan to collect $98 from every timeshare. Now, a timeshare is a 1 week or maybe 2 week rental. But as I understand it from the county assessor's office, that is prorated. So if you have a 1 week rental, you're going to collect about $2. They claim they're going to collect $98. They show $4.4 million coming in from timeshares. I don't think so. Probably more in the neighborhood of 200,000 as opposed to 4.4. With that kind of sloppy accounting and research, you have to worry that the underlying accounting and research that goes on here is equally as flawed, and I find that very disturbing. Lastly, I'd just like to mention that I think we all have our agendas, and I think we all have priorities and things that drive us. And I think it's important to look at the school board itself to understand their objectives and priorities. The school board members, the majority, are essentially placed here because of the construction labor unions. They see, and let's look at their priorities. Number one, their priority first is to get elected, then to get reelected, then to move up the political food chain. That's the nature of it. So their priorities are themselves first. In order to get that, they had to make their second priority the San Diego County construction industry. It's a little bit different than what you find in many government entities where the employees are number two, but in this case, these are not employees of the district. They're just people who provide $400,000 to get elected. Third, there are indeed, as far as priorities, the district employees and the labor unions, they represent them. This is not unusual. Most government agencies are run more for the government employees than for the purpose for which the organization is formed. Fourth, the priority is district parents. That's why they spent taxpayer money to pass out campaign literature disguised as informational brochures to the parents, primarily to gull them into paying for higher taxes and to convince others to pay taxes. Fifth, and I think we have to be fair, they do care about children. Children are indeed very important to the district. They're just not as important as the first four that I mentioned. And there is one other group which, I don't know how much they care about it, but they're quite interested, and that's the taxpayers. Taxpayers are viewed as basically two-legged ATM machines, open 24/7, that magically regenerate money every day to go down and make further withdrawals. Well, that's changing. This thing's going to go down to defeat. It's going to go down to flaming defeat. It may get 2/3, which is what it's required to get to pass. But if it gets 2/3, it'll be 2/3 against. The only redeeming thing I can see in this, the only plus I see in this measure, two actually. One, finally the school board may get the message, but perhaps more importantly, the hubris of the district to put this on at the same time the city of San Diego puts on their ill-advised sales tax is a mutually destructive policy. And I have to admire them for that because I think each is going to help to destroy the other. Taxpayers do not want to see a list of tax increases on the ballot in the midst of this incredibly deep recession. So in that respect, kudos to the school district. Thank you.
Next up, we have Christine Lamarca, representing the San Diego County Apartment Association.
Good morning. My name is Christine Lamarca, and I'm here today representing the San Diego County Apartment Association. We have over 2,300 members in the city of San Diego, representing tens of thousands of units. First and foremost, the SDCAA opposes this tax because we are concerned with the ability of the school district to tax property owners without their ability to vote on the tax. No one wants to pay the tax on something that they have no vote on. The fact is that if you don't live in this district, you have no say in what you will pay. Additionally, voters need to remember that there's no such thing as a free lunch. The consumer ultimately pays the price. Unless voters vote no on Prop J, this tax will be passed along as all costs of doing business are. Increases in taxes, higher insurance rates, everything gets built into the cost of the product, in this case, rents. Lastly, we are concerned with the district's financial mismanagement. They have identified where the new funds will be, but not where they will redirect the funds that they already have. If passed, this will add an additional $100 million a year to their current budget. Where is the current money going? It's not being accounted for anywhere. As taxpayers, shouldn't we want to know where this money is going to go? On behalf of the Apartment Association, I urge voters to vote no on Proposition J. This is not the best solution for our schools or for any of our futures. Thank you.
Next up, we have Donna Sanfilippo representing the San Diego Association of Realtors.
Good morning. My name is Donna Sanfilippo, and I represent the San Diego Association of Realtors. Our organization represents 11,000 realtor members in San Diego, and we are opposed to Proposition J, the parcel tax hike. Proposition J will increase an additional barrier to homeownership by increasing property taxes on homeowners and future homeowners. With so many San Diegans struggling to survive in a weak economy and so many families struggling to keep their homes and avoid foreclosure, now is absolutely not the time to increase property taxes. On behalf of SDAR, I urge you to reject the parcel tax hike by voting no on Proposition J.
Next, we have concerned parent Valerie Hilberg.
Thank you very much for the opportunity today to speak out against Prop J. I have two students here in San Diego Unified School District, and I'm opposed to Prop J. Prop J is going to fall approximately $10 million short in delivering student programs and class size reduction promised under the measure. Additionally, and more importantly, it does not solve the $100 million shortfall the district has to address next year. This program will not protect student programs. It is the district's fiduciary responsibility to fix this problem by bringing special interests back to the bargaining table and negotiating sustainable and realistic compensation programs. Vote no on this district bailout program. Our students in your community deserve better.
And another concerned parent, Debbie O'Toole.
Thank you. We're all here for different reasons. I'm here because I have 3 children in the district. I think the school board missed an opportunity to do something great for the students of San Diego Unified. Proposition J is mostly about hiring personnel. 92% of our current budget goes to compensating personnel. We cannot afford to hire anyone else, at least not at this point. This is unsustainable. Instead, the board could have found more support for increasing taxes during this tough time if the money went directly to children's programs. Every year for the last several years, these programs are threatened, and we parents have had to make a trek down here to beg for them to be spared. Just yesterday, the school district was presented a national award for our music program, yet this program is on the chopping block again this year. Had the proposition protected these type of programs from cuts, I could support it, but instead they ignored these programs that are for our kids, and instead they direct the money to the adults. I believe this is the wrong decision. Thank you.
And finally, Lonnie Lutar, President and CEO of the San Diego County Taxpayers Association.
Thanks, Eric. The school board is proposing a $250 million tax increase at the worst possible time when families are struggling to make ends meet. What we do is at home when times are tough is cut back on spending. What this district is proposing is to ask taxpayers to pay even more. This is extremely frustrating, particularly because this school board has a track record of poor fiscal decisions that they've made in the past. They have a track record of bait and switch that they've pulled on the voters, and we don't think that this is the right time to be asking taxpayers to forget even more money. What's especially insulting is that while they put this measure, Prop J, forward, they pre-approved 7% salary increases for all employees, and many will see yet another increase that will result to potentially a total of 14%. How can they go to voters and ask for more money while they're pre-approving these obligations that will take, that doesn't ensure that we have more accountability, doesn't ensure that we're going to see increased student achievement? So it appears that the school district and the board are putting the labor unions ahead of the students, and this is especially frustrating for us, and this is why we recommend opposition to Proposition J. Thank you.
Thanks, Lonnie. There's a question before voters on November 2nd. Two questions, actually. Does the district need more money? And number two, is this a district that deserves more money? I will not speak to the first. I think there are people that stood behind me today and said that perhaps there are needs. There are more needs. The question is this a group of people that are running this district that can be trusted with it? I speak for a very small group within the community, and that's builders. They have been told they are not worthy of working on these projects, and yet those that live within the city are now being asked to increase their taxes, have their taxes increased to send more money to the district. The shamelessness is exceeded only by the arrogance, and that is symptomatic of why voters need to send this district a message on November 2nd.